Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. It's Reverend Devan Jesse Byrne here, and we are coming at you with our second reading for Gerald here. And I had to do this several times to get his name right. He goes by a different name to me. Ugh. He asked about his book success. Let's see how it goes.
Subscribe.
Oh, I think it worked right this time. Hello, welcome back. Awesome, are you? I, some reason, got the wrong background up, but that's okay. It's a little more fitting. Fitting, yes. Welcome. I'm actually, yes, we're doing the Transcendent readings, life readings today, and I am feeling like we're going to be using the Course in Miracles cards again. Hopefully you don't mind. I do want to maybe pull some others, but I work so well with these. I personally translated it great. That's a good word to use. Just do it a great job there. Oh, who is this guy? Start this over. What's going on? Yeah, hello. So, yeah, if you know me, I relate to A Course in Miracles very well. Absolutely love it. And we got these Course in Miracles cards here. We got two huge beeping decks with Course quotes that just really fit in. Now, Gerald. I keep wanting to say Gerald. I don't know why. And he's always gone by Jerry for me. And so it's a little hard. He wants to shift his name, get in the shift. So I can mention this now, right? Because the shift is coming. It hasn't actually happened yet, right? Okay, so we're planning on this shift, and we're starting it right now. So everybody stop calling him Jerry. Everybody stop it. Because they're getting this shift. He is a great man that I met at the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living several years back. He reminded me that I offered him a reading over 10 years ago there. And I gave it to someone else instead. Oh no, you can't have your reading. I gave it to somebody else. No, we ran out of time to do it, I believe. I remember you definitely have something unique to offer and to share it with everybody. And as far as your question, getting into the whole book thing, you're hoping that will it be successful enough? And it really is your question. Will it be successful enough that your wife's financial support for you and burden is going to be lifted? So as far as we're going to read this first card here, dream Course in Miracles, okay? Dream of your brother's kindness instead of dwelling in your dreams on his mistakes. And do not brush aside his many gifts because he is not perfect in your dreams. Isn't that right? Isn't that never? So here, let's put this up here so we can see it. Let's see if this works for me. No, why did it go to this page? I don't know. Let's see here. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Dream of your brother's kindness instead of dwelling on your dreams, on his mistakes, and do not brush aside his many gifts because he is not perfect in your dreams. Now, this is interesting because you're like, how in the crap are you supposed to be doing a reading from this, Devan? And you're like, well, this is more, think of it, when it says brother, yes, it is referring to the many people, everybody, including me and everybody. But it is also talking about you, yourself, your individual. And that's why I think this is a lot of what this is about, specifically for you at this moment, and what the Spirit's coming from with these cards is about, is that, you might be looking at yourself and yeah, you've come a long way, but even that idea of the, living off your wife's check or something, and her success. I'm in a similar situation, and it's easy especially for men, but nowadays it's really switching to, as far as men feel less about themselves because they are not successful, and the wife can't stay home, or you can't afford that the wife stay home, and so, and possibly do what her dream job to do is, or not. But this isn't her reading. As far as what I feel like this is about, there's something specifically in your world, in your life, about your person that is, in the sense, required for your, say, dream reality, as it uses that word, dream. That in this world, it is required that you're looking at yourself in a specific fashion in order to be Gerald, in order to be you. So you actually think less of yourself is required. That, take it in this fashion. If you thought perfect of yourself, you wouldn't be in a world of imperfection or incompleteness. And I know you're pretty enlightened as well, so it's in the sense of not just an outlook, but in the way in which you're looking, not just in the world, looking at the world, or how, like, not just an outlook, but literally experiencing perfection everywhere. And so if you're really there in that place, then it follows you. It manifests you. So we got this second card here. One brother is all brothers. Answers that question. Every mind contains all minds, and for every mind is one such as the truth. So as far as nowadays, is something that's pretty awesome about life nowadays. We're moving into the authority of essentially of women, and it's kind of in this way. There is, I don't know your specific situation, but a lot of people as well, that there's actually more women working nowadays than there are men working, and it's kind of interesting, something about that. So we're all kind of in the same boat, and as much as we still have that call, we still have that drive, and entirely possible when we get to the specifics about the book and everything and the success of it. But it is something that we are all healing. Like, back in the day, many men would kill themselves, literally jumping off buildings, because they didn't have or couldn't see the success that they needed, or the financial success or whatever that at the time for the situation, So they actually killed themselves. And so the fact that we are happy and still working, I mean, in the way we are, is remarkable. We are healing our generation and essentially the mind that is required of men to be a certain way. And it is a balancing out. The reason we're going to this sense of authority of women, it's not necessarily women, but of the feminine, is that we went so far into this masculine authority in the world, where, not just men, but the masculine essence still is the strongest presence in the room in whatever way. And so that now we're coming out of that, and men are getting more timid, men are getting more calm, peaceful, and things. And this relates in with you and with me and with many others. And so we're actually doing this healing thing that's required. So you and I, many of us all out there, we are literally changing the course and history of everything. We're turning things around. I feel like I'm not using the right words. Get the words out there. But as far as this is something that's working. Even this book, A Course in Miracles, it says brothers and all this stuff. Some people I've had over the course of going to course groups and all this stuff, is that they change it to feminine terms and everything. And as much as that's more like for rights or something, it's interesting that we're taking it farther now. We're going to the feminine side so that we can balance out. And it's the same thing as an inner job. That one mind that it's talking about is that it's an inner job, and it's a reflection. Essentially, we are all a reflection of your healing, of your experience. Now, as far as your book, here's your next card, man. Nothing is difficult that is wholly desired. So as far as you're writing this book, what's it called? Daring to Love. Live. Sorry. Daring to Live. That sounds great. Sounds amazing. Sounds like a very powerful book. I know that you have something special to share. I can definitely feel and tell that you have something special. And as that, you've always been this type of a leader in a way that not necessarily leading others, or not, I don't know for sure, but the fact that it's easy, and I know I've been on this side, to look up to you and to see that. I know you had with No Brainer. I don't know how that's going or not, but with your accident, you definitely have a story to tell about all of that, and I'm sure you're in a place beyond that, where yes, it is a story, but you're expanding and sharing to so much more. But in the sense of what is wholly desired, because as much as you think of this as your book, you might be done with your book, right? You might be fairly close, you might whatever, but as far as getting your wife off of her feet, now, is that necessarily wholly desired? Now, as far as, yes, I feel the same way, but do I want to, like, subconsciously we have this innate thing generationally that we're healing of, but we think we need to go get a 9-to-5, And I know you're out of this, but at the same sense, it's like, do you completely think of work as not work yet? And essentially this is what it is saying, is like, is there something, and that's what I feel like I'm picking up, subconsciously back there that you still feel like there is an immense amount of effort that is necessary? And if there is effort necessary, then it's not that effort can't be used. It's not that it wouldn't be effortless for everybody else or anything, but is it wholly desired? Like, there might be something that, as far as I'm thinking of this word, desired, is also hand in hand with the inspired. That if it's fully inspired, and you know it's fully inspired, then it is effortless, right? It just happens naturally. Now, there is definitely something that I feel... Here, let's pull a card. There is something that I feel, this is like the most popular quote of the book. Teach only love, for that is what you are. But there is something that I feel like you do, and it's a common thing among people that are into the New Age stuff, say law of attraction, that we, instead of finding just inspiration and making it explode, kind of a deal, like instead we try and blow up our own bubble and make it explode, in the sense of actually being inspired, actually being effortless, and on the other hand, deciding I'm inspired, deciding this is how it's going to happen, this is what I'm going to do. You know what? I don't know if you thought of this or not. I don't know if you know that I do this, but maybe we should do something together. You've been in my life, and I actually feel like this teach only love, for that is what you are, is in the sense that you naturally have it. And I'm talking about your success. You naturally have that. Do we need to convince others? It's okay to convince others. I'm not saying that you shouldn't sell yourself or anything, but in the sense of being that loving presence is selling yourself. You know what I mean? Like being focused on that. And I have no doubt that it would be happening. Let's use this card here. I gotta read it before I put it up. The Holy Spirit will direct you only so as to avoid pain. Surely no one would object to this goal if he recognizes it. The problem is not whether that the Holy Spirit says it is true, but whether you want to listen to what he says. See those masculine pronouns again? Oh, it's a big one. Gotta make it fit on there. I gotta adjust my cropping here. So the Holy Spirit directs you, and this, you know this. I mean, you know this is happening. I'm sure you recognize that your work and your book is absolutely inspired. And as far as it feels like, when you say to get your wife out of wife's work burden and everything, that you feel like you have pain, right? There's some sort of pain when you see your wife struggling with whatever she's doing and what work she's doing. I actually feel the same way, that there is definitely a pain about it that I want to get out of, and I want her out of. And that's the thing about like 9 to 5, is it's tough, man. It's tough. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't really matter how much you like it. It can still be tough. But when you recognize that it's inspired guidance, it's just like effortless, even if it's just on the weekends, in that sense. But so let's read the second part. The problem is not whether what the Holy Spirit says is true, but whether you want to listen to what he says. So that doesn't necessarily mean you haven't been, but in the sense of what is the take on it, or the effort that's needed. That's if it seems to have effort, I should say, then are you recognizing that the inspiration is absolute fact? So it doesn't mean you're not inspired if you have effort and you're working hard and in struggle for a while. It just means you've forgotten that you're inspired, right? If you're inspired and remember that you're inspired, remember who's inspiring you, whatever source it might be. then it naturally just flows. Like you have this calling, this purpose, and you can actually, you live with it. You go with it. You run. It fuels you. And I'm pretty positive you recognize this, and you know this. So it's pretty cool, as well as taking it in this fashion. That if we could sum up what this is about and what we're getting from this, is that there is a little bit of subconscious aspect that needs some healing, that believes that some effort is still needed. And so we need to find and discover where that is, and convert our subconscious belief there into this sense of not just convincing ourselves, not just being demanding, saying, no, I believe it's not necessary, but to actually discover and to shift that little aspect of believing in ourselves, that effort is still necessary, not to the fact that effort's not necessary, because effort is okay. It's that the opposite of effort is inspiration. So we want to recognize that it's inspired, and that we are called by God to do it. And then that's your success. So as far as not so much answering your question about is it going to be successful, essentially, if you recognize that and shift that little belief back there, then yes, you will have the success in which that burden is released for you and your wife. So that's pretty exciting as far as how I see it, but I also leave it on to you. You could screw it up. It's okay. Let's get this last one here. The gifts you have are not for you alone. What he has come to offer you, you now must learn to give. Gerald. Sorry, Jerry. Gerald. I'm trying. It's the effort. It's not inspired. The gift you have. This is it, man. This is it. The gift you have, the gifts you have are not for you alone. What he has come to offer you, you now must learn to give. Read that on your own. Don't rely on me. You got it. This is it. You're set, man. You're set. You're learning how to give it, even as I learning how to give it. It's beautiful.